Record. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Roadmap to 5K and beyond. I'm so excited to see all of you here. Lots of familiar faces, some new faces, and I'm just really excited. I went all out. We have a slide deck that I've spent some time on, and we're going to see if I can make this tech piece work. But I'm so excited to see all of you here and just really honored that you've taken time out of your day. There are so many other things and places where you could be and be doing. And so I just really want to acknowledge all of you and just say thank you for being here. And I'm excited to dive in. So let me see, let me get the slide deck up. And okay, how are we going to make this work? Share screen, I guess, hey? Okay. Okay. Let me know if you can all see this. Did I do it? Yay! Okay, welcome to Roadmap to 5K and beyond. The way that we'll be doing this today is that I'm gonna give you information and walk you through this. I hope that you all have a piece of paper and a pen because we're going to be doing some journaling. And then also opening it up for questions as we go to discuss what's coming up for you, and then open it up at the end for coaching requests, more questions, all of that stuff. I saw a hand go up and I can't, unless I get out of here, I can't see it. So once I pause, then we will go and I'll look at what hands are raised. So okay, so some of you know me, some of you might not know me. So this is the official information about me. So obviously Shannon Whaley, she, her. I started coaching back in 2015 and started going through coach training. I got my associate certified coach credential through the International Coaching Federation in 2017. And then went and got my professional certified coach credential in 2018. And there are 3 credentials. So then the next level up is the master certified coach. So I'm also a former coach trainer. I did that between 2017 and 19. I paused my business in 2019 to take on the role of a sales and marketing coordinator for a coach training company that I had been training with and for. And so really worked in their sales and marketing and developing that program. And then in 2021, I became a certified mentor coach, and I am also registered with the ICF for that as well. So that means I have literally done all of the things in the coaching industry, all the way from being a student to teaching coaches to mentoring them and helping them get their credentials. And then also the back end of a coach training company where I learned the ins and outs of that marketing piece. So now the more personal stuff. So I'm a Virgo. For those of you who pay attention to this stuff, I'm a 2/4 emotional projector, quad left. So all of my arrows go left. I'm an Enneagram 8. I don't know what that means. I'm more into human design than I am into Enneagram stuff. But if you know that, then you'll know more about me. So I love strategy, structure, order. It is my jam. It's what I fucking love doing. I'm really good at it. It's my superpower. And my clients have told me that I am able to break down complex marketing and business concepts into small bite-sized pieces so that they can then take them and implement them into their own businesses. And my passion and really what I'm here to do as a projector is to guide and teach and mentor. I'm a stay-at-home cat mom of 4, and I am an American immigrant living here in Italy with my husband. Okay, so what I do, I'm an anti-hustle business coach, and I teach coaches and service providers how to ethically build and scale their businesses without the hustle or the burnout that's super common in the coaching industry. I was running my business all from hustle, none from pleasure, for the first 5 years or so of my business. And I was really burnt out. I was doing all the things. I probably took a lot of the courses that you might have taken. I was in B school. I was listening to Amy Porterfield podcast. I was all up in the things, and I could not hit that coveted 10K month. I was just like spinning my wheels and like burnt the fuck out. And the work that I was doing was not being reflected back to me in my bank account, in the impact that I felt like I was having. And, you know, the clients that I was not able to serve because I was just so burnt out. So when I left the sales and marketing position in 2020, February of 2020, I was like, well, I've tried the hustle, so let's try the other piece of this, or the other side of this. And so I switched to a more pleasure-based anti-hustle business model. And that's when, like, if you've been watching me and you're like, oh, overnight success, which we know is false. But that's really when my business started to blow up, and things really felt so much better, so much, I hate saying like easier, but they were just much more pleasurable. And since February 2020, I've made over 300,000 in cash through organic social media marketing. I don't run ads or anything like that. And it's all just been through storytelling, referrals, and, you know, showing up with my cat and tiny hands on the internet. So if you are here, then ideally, this is who you are. So you know where you want to go, but maybe you're having a hard time figuring out how to get there. So you know that you want to be offering one-on-one and group programs and workshops and all of that, but you're not quite sure which one to launch first, or you've had some success and you want to then move into that next level. You have a desire to have that consistent and reoccurring income in your business so that you can breathe and have a regulated nervous system and really know and be able to project your income. That is a huge game changer. You've been watching me and my clients get these crazy epic results and want to learn the process, so that you can be your biggest success story, and so that you can have these results for yourself. And whatever that may look like, maybe you don't want a business that looks like mine. Maybe you don't want to have these, you know, big months, but you just want consistency, whether that's 2,000 a month or whatever that looks like for you. And you're curious about the mastermind and want to get a better idea of what we're doing there. So I, you know, am fully transparent. We are in the mastermind launch. The doors open officially today. And so we're going to talk about that at the end. And you'll get an idea of what we do in there and if that could be the next step for you. Here's the agenda. So we'll keep you abreast of everything that's happening. So we're going to talk about the 5 ways to serve. And this is really your sales funnel or your business model. I know that people hate those words. They are very bro-y, but it is what it is. Like, you can call it the client journey. You can call it your client experience, whatever you want to call it. When it comes down to business terms, it's your business model. I'm going to show you different ways to hit 5K months. Whether your desire is 5K or more, you'll start to see how the payment plans and all of this starts to compound, and then things just grow from there. We're going to figure out what your personal roadmap is based on what your income goals are, the time that you have. like sit at home and like I go to the gym. I don't have kids. I don't have, the responsibilities that a single parent might have or somebody who's working outside of the home. So I really want to help you figure out what you can do with your bandwidth and what's available in your life. And we'll talk about your desires and your desired lifestyle. And then we're going to dive into the CEO mindset. So getting your brain and your nervous system on board with your big goals, and really showing you what you can start doing now to get regulated to those bigger next levels. So I would love for you to just think about one thing that you want to walk away with today. You're going to get a lot, but let's see if I can. Let's see. Okay. I'd love to see, I know that this is like going against, but I would love to see, just put it in the chat box of what you'd like to walk away with so I can see what everyone desires. Oh, Maggie, hi, journaling. A plan. Okay. So a plan, clarity on an actual offer versus offering coaching. Can you clarify that, Mar? Healthy strategy. Okay. More confidence, which offer and focus on structure and ideas of how to serve. Clarity on my next steps to support my business goals and get the heck out of my unhealthy full-time job. Strategy. Excellent. Business plan. Cool. Hi, Amal. I saw people hop on after. I want to walk away with more clarity on what I want to offer one-on-one versus single soul sessions. Cool. Oh, me too. We're almost wrapping up. Structure and clear business plan. Excellent. You don't need a website. I know people will disagree with me, but I have a lot of offerings, how to figure out the best way to offer them without exhausting myself and my community. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let me see. Let's get back to this. Oh, okay. So I just have some statistics here for all of us to look at. So the coaching industry is blowing up, and these are statistics from the International Coaching Federation. They do a lot of research in the coaching industry. And so what they found in 2017, that was the most recent that I could find, was that the average income for full-time coaches is $61,900. And the coaching industry is a $2 billion, and this was, and that was in 2020. So a $2 billion industry. And as you can see with the hourly rate of coaches, so it starts from what, 25? I know, in starting in coach training that people were starting at $10 a session, and you can really see the range, right? And whether you're certified or credentialed or not, it's an unregulated industry. So there's nothing that's really holding you back from charging the higher prices, except what you can get regulated to and what feels in integrity and ethical for you to be charging. So start to think, and you don't necessarily have to put this in the chat box, but if you want to, you're welcome to do that. Start to think about what is your desired monthly income. Because one thing that I see is sometimes there is a desired monthly income. And then when we start to price programs and packages, they do not match up with what the desired income is. And so there's a mismatch, right? And so this is an opportunity for us to see what are these numbers and how can we start to get more in alignment with our pricing. And then doing the mindset work, doing the different pleasure embodiment practices that help us get regulated to those higher prices so that you can make the money that you desire. You can quit your job, you can go full time in your business, and have the lifestyle and have the coaching business that you really desire. Let's see. Yeah. You got to get to 1K and 2K before you can get to the 5s and the 10s and the 25s. Excellent. Cool. Okay. So 5 ways to serve. And I get to showcase my clients throughout this too. So you'll see their pictures and what they do and pop up throughout this. Ooh, it worked. Okay, so this is your business model. So I'd like for you on your piece of paper to write this inverted triangle. And you're going to see where you're already doing some of these things, where there are some gaps and some opportunities for you. And then we'll talk about how to slowly start filling in those gaps. So the first top part of your business model is free content. This is building an awareness around who you are, what you do, how you do it, why you do it. There's an opportunity for you to share your story, share testimonials, really talk about why this work's important to you. And I know that everybody's at different levels, right? So if you're just starting out and in coach training or wrapping up coach training, it's an opportunity for you to talk about your experience in coach training. What are you learning? What are some of the new tools that you're learning? And also, it's an opportunity, if you've gone through coach training, to talk about those things that you learned when you were going through that. So you can talk about how you keep your clients accountable. Like if we're going to look at the core competencies, because I know that there's some former students and other people on here who have gone through like an ICF model. So the core competencies, talk about how do you keep your clients accountable? What's the difference between therapy and coaching and consulting? Sometimes we need to spend some time educating our community about coaching, especially if you're new to this, because if you're new, it means that your community is new to it. So there is an opportunity for you to be educating your community. So talking about your program, talking about the work that you're doing, why it's important. So really start to think about, how are you already doing this? So what are some free ways? What are some ways that you provide free content? So then the next part is once they've subscribed to your list. So there's different ways to do this, and I'll get into this in just a bit, but this is, they've moved from Facebook, Instagram, and maybe they've opted into a free gift that you have, like your opt-in, a training series, a guide, a PDF, whatever. And now they're warmer. So they're on your list. The third piece is individualized free content. So this is going to be like free strategy sessions, free coffee dates, that sort of thing. Now we're going to get into paid offers. Right? So you see there's lots of opportunity for free stuff because you're warming them up. You're bringing them through this experience, this funnel, right? If you have a business, if you have free content that's directing people into a paid offer, you have a funnel. I know there's like a lot of like, oh, I don't do funnels. That's not true. So group programs. So it's lower investment. And that can be anything from, $50 to $100 a month to, depending on where you are in business, $1,000 a month, right? Because your one-on-one is going to be a higher investment. And then the fifth piece, your one-on-one offer. There's also, I mean, like if you throw in like retreats and that sort of thing, so those kind of like fit in different places because they are a higher investment, but just know like intensives, retreats, VIP days, those are in here as well. So let's talk about your free content, building an awareness. So this is blogs. Blogs are not dead. People still read them. And if they're searching for topics and you're doing the SEO on the back end, it's going to bump your website up into a Google search. You can take screenshots of this too, if that's easier. And I'm also going to see if Amelia can send out the slide deck. So social media, obviously, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. I know some people use Twitter. That's not my thing. I'm predominantly on Facebook and Instagram. Meetups, goddess circles, whatever you want to call them, circles, right? So different free things that really start to build an awareness around who you are, how you support people, giving them a taste of the work that you do. This could be also doing presentations, workshops like this, although this is, you had to sign up for this. So this moved people into that next level of the funnel. But if you're invited to do a presentation at a yoga studio or at a health club or that sort of thing, and also being a guest on somebody's podcast, that's a great way to, I also should have put your own podcast. I don't know why I did that, but if you have your own podcast as well. So do not overlook the importance and the impact of your free content. So this is part of your pro bono work. This is part of the way that you support your community at every level of where they are. So they might not be ready to invest. They might not be able to invest. And so don't overlook how important and valuable your free content is. I know some people kind of just like, I want to be more accessible and I want to, be able to help meet my community where they are. And this is really how you get to do that. So you can pour into your Facebook group or pour into your Instagram and really use that and view that as a very important part of your business model. So important. I quoted myself. So the second part is they're subscribed to your list. So webinars, workshops, opt-ins, you can do a challenge. So maybe like a 5-day challenge or a 3-day challenge. That's also a really great way to build your group. If you have a Facebook group, so you can do like a 3-day event, and the only way that they can access that is in your Facebook group. Then that leads me into the next part. So in your Facebook group, you can ask 3 questions to new members. Ask them if they'd like to stay connected. If you have a free gift, would you like my gift? And then get their email address. And you can also do wait lists for your programs. So if you only run a program once a year, you can keep that on your website and keep your sales page up, but then just have, either you or your team can switch over the buttons and create a wait list. Super simple to do, just do a Google form. And it creates a whole like Google sheet of names and email addresses for you. So individualized free content. So strategy sessions, you can offer a free coaching call, depending on like what your business is. You can do like a health assessment, a business assessment. Maybe that word doesn't land. So figure out a word that feels more in alignment or more on brand with what you do. Today, I helped a client, she's going to do an activation session. Right. So just figure out like, and maybe you do something that fits that's on brand with the program that you're running. So like I would do like a roadmap to 5K workshop that would lead into like a roadmap to 5K call. So you can do that as well, so that you keep the, things curtailed and on brand. Coffee chats. Another thing that you can do is, I know in MailChimp, when I was in MailChimp, it shows you who like the top openers are on the list. And so I would offer, we moved over to ConvertKit, and I don't know how to do that anymore over there. But when I was first starting, what I would do is I would offer the people who had the 4 and 5 starred open rates, quarterly strategy sessions. So free calls for the VIP list, basically. And it was first come, first serve. So I would offer, 5 calls for the quarter or 6 calls for the quarter. And you get a really good idea of who is interested in you, interested in what you're offering. It gives you an opportunity to talk to people, to get out from behind the computer, and to really start connecting with your community. So now we're going to move into paid things. So this is digital products, not really under group programs, but digital products, low-cost digital products, workshops, a low-cost membership program. The lower cost also, or the lower investment, also means lower touch. So this is where I see a lot of people getting burnt out, is when they have like a group program and then they're adding all of this high touch stuff on, and it burns them out if they also have one-on-one clients. So as people have more access to you, the investment typically goes up, right? So group programs are known to be lower investment. Now you can add on a one-on-one component and the price is going to go up. So what you could do is then have your group program at the regular rate. And then if they want to add on one-on-one calls, then that's another tiered investment. So you can give them that choice, right? You can also just offer discounted one-on-one calls throughout the duration of your group program. So let's say your hourly rate is like $200 an hour. Maybe you offer one-on-one calls for $150 an hour for each session. And they can just book them as they want. So that's something to think about. So then also group programs would be a mid-level investment, higher touch. So this would be, for example, a mastermind, maybe a smaller group program so that they have more of your time, a bit of a higher touch, so a bit of a higher investment. And then going up into mastermind. Again, that word mastermind may not work for you. Figure out what feels more in alignment or more on brand. Mastermind feels very businessy. So you can find a word that describes what you're doing, but is essentially mastermind. And then the last part, one-on-one coaching. So when I'm working with my clients, I typically recommend it depends on where they are in their business. So if you're brand new to coaching, you're not quite sure what your niche is, what you want to be coaching around, and you're still figuring things out, maybe a shorter 3-month program is going to be better, because you personally might not want to get stuck in a 6-month commitment. Once you've figured that out and you are clear and you know what you're offering, when you have a 6-month to longer container, this is really where you're going to start seeing more predictability in your income. You have a more committed client, you're more invested, and we know that results take time, right? So if it's a 3-month program and you're only meeting twice a month, that's only 6 sessions. So you're going to really have to manage their expectations as to what you can accomplish in 6 sessions versus a 6-month program where you meet 3 to 4 times a month, depending if you want an integration week. So they would get 6 sessions within the first 2 months. I am a huge advocate of integration weeks. So I do 3 sessions a month I'm pretty sure all of my clients also do that as well. And this is also one way that we've really created anti-hustle businesses that feel better and allow us to have that more spacious calendar. Right? So when you have a 6-month container and you are charging by the package versus hourly, that is really what's going to transform your business. Because if you're charging hourly per session, if you're only doing, month-long programs, you need more clients. You have to have a bigger audience, and you're going to be marketing all the time. Once your one-on-one is sold out, whether that's 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, then you can say, great, I have a spot opening up in 4 months, and you can just relax for a little bit. You're not always launching, always having to be out there. So with one-on-one, it's the highest investment, highest touch. This is there are like caveats, right? But this is usually what I recommend my clients start with, because it's the easiest. You don't need a curriculum. You don't need to create any documents or modules or PDFs or anything like that. You can literally just say, here's my 6-month program. This is what we're going to cover. These are the intended results. And let's get on a call and talk about this. And it's just really great too, if you're figuring out what you're doing, and figuring out your niche. So I do want to talk about this really quick, because this is something that comes up for a lot of people. So the accessibility and equity piece. I fully understand that we want our services to be accessible for our community members. We also know that there are marginalized communities who are, coaching it's out of reach for a lot of people. And there are, marginalized communities who are unable to, for any reason, right, invest at the higher one-on-one rate. And there's a lot of shit going on in the world. And I see your big heart. I have also struggled with this. And so this is one thing that I have had to learn in my own business, as well as working with my coaches and mentors around diversity, equity, and inclusion, and really seeing how to build this into my business so that I can support more people. What I have learned, and I'm going to talk about the support coach who'll be joining us in the mastermind. So what I have learned is that you have to be resourced and have a sustainable business model before you can really start to implement these bigger accessibility and equity pieces. And that's why I said, do not minimize how important your free content is until you get to the point in your business where you can have the scholarships, you can create the sliding scale. You can even do like community giving campaigns where you can ask them, would you like to give an extra $100? And it would sponsor somebody who's unable to financially afford this program. These are all things that you can have on your radar. And you have to make sure that your business is financially stable and that you have this consistency, because I've seen this in my own business, trying to do this too early, and in clients' businesses where they get burnt out because they're trying to be so accessible that now they have too many clients and they're still not making enough money. So we really want to set you up for success. And so I invite you to really start thinking about creating a 1-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan. I'm assuming that everybody here is in this for the long run. And so this can be on your radar, right? Where by this year, I would like to, or maybe by the time I'm making this much money in my business, these are the things that I would like to have implemented. And you can go in stages. So I started donating personal money, right? 10% of what I brought home, not what like the business brought in, but that was important to me. And then once my business started to make a profit, then I started incorporating scholarships and partial scholarships. Now that I'm at the next level, we're looking at how to make the mastermind and the one-on-one more accessible to people. But I was not able to do that until I got to where I am in business now, right? So put this on your radar. I hope that this is important to you. I assume it is, because these are my values. I know that my people also share similar values. So really start to think about this and know that you can get there. You just really need to make sure that you're taken care of first. Because if you're burnt out and you can't quit your job because you're offering too many free services, right? So that being said, this is exactly why I hired my support coach, VP Wright. They teach coaches and creatives how to build inclusive, sustainable, community-based businesses. So they are going to be leading the one-on-one calls, and also in office hours. They'll also be leading a 90-minute workshop that's specific around inclusive business and marketing strategies, because while this is something that I have done in my business, this is not my lane per se. And so I wanted to bring somebody in who could specifically address this with my community, because this is one of the huge gaps in the coaching industry. And so that's why they'll be joining us in the mastermind. So I'm going to pause. Let me see if I can do this. And hold on. Okay. Can I bring everybody up? Why don't I see everybody? Okay. Sorry, stop share. Okay. I would love, what crashed? Okay. So I want to open this up to questions. I see lots of questions in the chat box. I apologize. I can't see them when I'm in the PowerPoint. So if you want to come on camera and ask your questions of what we've covered, and I'll look in the chat box as well. What you got? No questions? I don't believe you.
I'll ask.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Hi, I'm so happy to be here today. I love watching just all your stuff. So when you first started, did you just go straight into one-on-one offerings straight off the bat? And then as you progressed, you just developed all of your other digital products, right?
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, it's the easiest, right? Because I didn't know that I was going to be a marketing coach. So I was like an adventure coach and a travel coach. And I was like talking, right. And then it was just like general life coaching. And then I realized really fast, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to do this. And then when I realized that I wanted to be a marketing coach, then I had clarity. But imagine if I had signed somebody on for a 6-month contract, right? Where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then what happened was I filled up my one-on-one and I started paying attention to the questions. that I was being asked, and they were all similar questions. So now I had like a database of, well, if everybody's asking me this stuff in one-on-one, why don't I just create a group program that answers these questions?
And your one-on-one, was it like month to month, or you were saying you didn't do the 6 months like contract? You were basically like doing at that point month to month, or no?
Yeah. So once I realized that I was like, this is my niche, I did 6-month contracts. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And one quick other question. When you were on Facebook, like I don't really like Twitter as well too, but on Facebook, did you decide that, instead of your personal page and then you started your group, what made that transition? Like when you decided you wanted to have this, group instead,
Yeah.
or Facebook group? Yeah.
It was more for selfish reasons because I wanted my own place, right? And like my own space to talk about travel and sobriety. And I wanted it off of my main page. Because back then I had people from like my old drinking party, stand-up comedy life. And I just really had this desire to create a community of people that I had things in common with. And then it just like, it was like, it was Traveling Wild Woman, it was Traveling Wild Woman Coaching Community. And then it was this and that, right? And I've just like changed the name, but it just like grew with me instead of, starting over.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Who else? I'm going to go through the questions too.
I have a question.
Hi, Cassie.
Hi, don't mind that mom look right now. Actually, I guess a couple different questions come to mind. And before I forget them, I'm just going to put them out there because I'll probably forget them if I don't. So 2 big things. One, you talk a lot about like the free content and the groups, and obviously I know all this, right? I've been trying to do this for 6 years. So one of the things I'm working or trying to kind of figure out now is where to find, or the best ways to find the right new people to connect with. My niche has changed since having my daughter. It really just threw me for a complete loop in life and just changed me. And I'm still coaching, just a different kind of clientele with a slightly different angle. So now it's like, okay, I need to connect with different people. That way free content even matters, because otherwise it's just kind of going on deaf ears if the people that are watching are not necessarily the right clientele. So I'm curious in the beginning, especially like, and when you were building your Facebook group, like where were you finding the right kind of people to connect with so they were watching what you were doing?
Right. I was in a lot of groups. So
Okay.
I found groups. I don't necessarily recommend the way that I did it. In fact, I don't. Like, I recommend finding a couple of groups until you start to build, and accept more friend requests and make more connections. So maybe just finding a couple of like hip mom groups. I saw your page, you're coaching like millennial moms, right? So
Yep.
Looking at like, even maybe looking and seeing if there's groups that exist around that, or like have that name, or it comes up in the search bar, right? And then is it active? Are there people, like the things to look at when you're using somebody else's group or audience is, do they allow promotion? Do they allow you to kind of like talk about what you're doing? That doesn't have to be like a no, but it's a bonus.
Yeah.
Is it active? Like, is it only some like groups only the owner is allowed to post? So you don't want to be in those, right?
Yeah.
So like, cause you want to build connections, right? And so, I feel like an easier way to do this until you do have those relationships built is to use somebody else's audience that they've built.
And then I guess sorry, go ahead.
Also, what'll happen too is like, if you are answering questions, or maybe you're asking questions and they get used to your picture, they get used to your helpful comments, you're cheering, like if you're cheering people on and you know, gassing them up, that's always going to make you stand out.
Okay. Now, I know you started a group and you just talked about kind of like why. I technically have a group, had a group in a sense. Obviously my clientele has changed a little bit, so I am contemplating getting back into that arena. But there's also a lot of people out there that say, like, don't put your time into that at first. It's not obviously revenue generating right away, that kind of thing. But I feel a tug towards like that sense of community that's like mine, and that like right now I'm just wanting to connect with people, even for selfish reasons, that are going through a similar phase of life and whatnot. So I guess, what is your opinion on the right timing for starting your own group?
I mean, I would more just check in with the intention versus the timing.
Okay.
So is it like, does it feel like it's a have to, like I have to do this in order to be successful or to make money because everybody else has this? Or is this like, I really want to create a community that's off of my main page where we can just like talk about X, Y, and Z and have people who are going through the same things, and you can share your work with them. So
Okay.
that's more like, there's tons of groups. It seems too that that's like what's being prioritized in the algorithm anyway.
Okay.
And so, yeah, more intention than timing.
Okay. And then I had asked this in like when you had posted about it, but speaking to people who have like full-time jobs, or me, I have a young daughter, like my time resources have become so much more limited. I am the person who was the hustler. I would work till 2 a.m. I could juggle all of it. I loved it. I had no problem doing that. That completely changed having my daughter, and I'm still trying to figure out how to fit it all in and what to prioritize with such limited time and energy resources. So in those kind of situations, what do you recommend kind of focusing on?
The biggest thing I would say is building your audience and connecting.
Okay.
So do you have a program ready to go? Like if someone, okay, so that's sorted.
Yeah.
And you're
Basically,
solid on
I
it.
have a program that I'm trained in, that I can coach it. Everything's done there. My goal is to create my own version of it, but I'm not prioritizing that this second because I feel like I need to get paid first and then shift that. And the program works. I've had clients. I know it works. So that's what I'm going with for right now.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. So, yeah, it's just really about like building up your audience, making those connections. So, and this is what I mean too by like, there's a caveat on where to start. So maybe starting with a group, right? Like, so this is where you get to think about like, do you have time to do one-on-one? If you do have time, great. If you don't, then we're going to have a conversation around maybe a group is better for you and what you have, right? And you can easily turn a one-on-one program into a group program.
I've already done it both ways. Like it can be both ways. Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, so, you know, if one-on-one does feel like where you want to start, then it's just really about making those connections. So like getting people on the phone, like having those coffee chats, really starting to cultivate those relationships, because that's what's going to bring sales.
Okay. And so how did you do that in the beginning? Like when you were just kind of starting to connect with people and posting and sharing, like how do you go from that to actually having phone calls?
I did like coffee chats. I did like community, like connection, like let's just get on a, you know, like a happy hour call and that sort of thing. It would go from like connecting on a post to, hey, do you want to chat in the DMs? I'd love to get, you know, to hear more about this. And then it's like, hey, do you want to have a call? No pressure, but like, I'd love to support you. A lot of free calls, just to really like build up that muscle too.
Okay. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. I'm going to answer a couple of these, but I did just realize what time it was and I'm like way behind. Okay. So high touch is like my one-on-one is high touch. So it's 6 one-on-one sessions. No, it's not. It's 3 sessions a month for 6 months. You have access to me via Voxer. So Monday through Friday between specific hours. You just have more access to me. So higher touch is more of my attention, basically. What are your thoughts on including that scholarship sliding scale available for Amal? Can you explain a little bit more? I don't quite understand the question.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wonderful. I was just asking of like, so on the sales page to have the price of the coaching, and below that to have like sliding scale and scholarship available for BIPOC, survivors of sexual assault and such. So like having like listing reasons of why we offer the scholarships and sliding scale. So like, I'm wondering, like, does that get people to be like, what are your thoughts on putting that on the website under the price?
Totally. I mean, I'm all about like full transparency. So that's like for my website. So like we offer full and partial scholarships for my 2 group programs. And so in the Q&A, like at the bottom, it says, you know, do you offer scholarships? And so that's in there. If that's something that you have, you can always say that like underneath the pricing that, you know, scholarships and sliding scale is available. It could be like, if money is a concern, or like if this investment feels out of reach, please don't hesitate to reach out because we have these things in place. And we can explore these options on a consultation. Does that answer your question?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Back to screen share. Okay. I got to power through this. I realize that we're almost, okay. So roadmap to 5K. So the different ways to hit 5K months. There are an infinite amount of variables or like of ways to make this work, right? So I've just got creative, but I want to show you how things change when you start raising your prices, even just a little bit. So if you're only doing one-on-one coaching and you're at a lower price point, you're going to need a lot more clients. And so I've had many conversations with coaches where they've said like, oh, I want to be making this much money. And they're super jazzed about it. And then I ask them what their rates are, and they're charging $200 a month for like 4 sessions. And I'm like, look, we have a problem here. This, like, you literally don't have the time in your day, like in your week, to be coaching this many people. And I also want you to start thinking about your audience, your community, right? So the lower your investment, the more people you're going to need to sell to. So I understand that you have to slowly sometimes raise your rates, right? So maybe you are at the $400 a month or even $500 a month. My job as your coach, if you decide that the mastermind is the next step for you, is to really help you start to regulate your mindset to the next level, but then also help you start raising your rates so that you don't have to work as much. So that when you have those $1,000 a month clients, imagine how much space you have in your week to spend with your family, to travel, to do all of the things. And then your nervous system is regulated. You have that consistent income coming in. Now you can create the group program. Now you can have those lower price point programs that you could have the scholarships be a part of. right? But until you're resourced, until you have this money coming in, you're going to be needing more and more people in your community to say yes. And this is a surefire way to burn out. If you're only charging $425 a month, that is a quick way to burn out. And so also thinking about how much do you want to be working? Like what do you have? Like what time do you have? So then it becomes like, well, I have to raise my rates because I only have this many hours in the week and this is what I want to be doing. So then this starts to change how you think about your rates and your prices. So let's look at group coaching only. And also, I mean, this could even go in for like, oh, I want to do like a $97 masterclass, or I want to do like, right? You need a huge audience, a large, right? If you need 52 clients to hit 5K a month with your $97 membership program, and that's all you have, why don't we start you with one-on-one and a higher ticket so that you need fewer clients at a bit of a higher rate, right? So that like the $1,000 a month would be more of like Mastermind. I saw Sistermind or whatever you want to call it, right? But higher touch, higher investment, really targeted support. Let's look at a combo. This is where things start to pick up. So if you have 4 one-on-one clients at $600 a month, then you only need 13 group members, right? Or if it's even like a lower, $150 a month or like $147, like whatever you want to, fancy marketing prices you want to add, but you can start to see like, okay, so if I have this many clients of one-on-one at this bit of a higher rate that we can get you regulated to, where you can feel super confident, where you can show up on the call, on the sales call and be like, yeah, I can sell the shit out of this. Then we would slowly start to bring in, and this is what's really going to change your business, is when you get really good at selling your one-on-one, you have that baseline. We're going to slowly add in the other programs or ideas that you have. The problem that I see is that people want to add things in too fast. And so you're churning through things, and we want to run a business that is sustainable, where we're not burning ourselves out, and think about when you have team. So your team's going to need time. And if you're changing things all of the time, and that's just like how you run your business, when you're ready to hire a team or multiple team members, they're going to be like, whoa. We need to like get some systems here, get all of this sorted so that you can run it like a well-oiled machine. The stacked payment plans are a fucking game changer. So this is where you will see a big jump in your income. So you have consistent, predictable income. So let's say now you have your one-on-one, you've either sold that out or you're happy with the number of clients who have signed on, and then you have your group program. This is where you can get a bit more, like you can have the longer payment plans. So both my Ignite and Business Unleashed, there's like a pay in full 3 months and then like a 9-month payment plan. 9-month is the most popular payment plan. It's like, I don't know, $150, like something like $175, but I have that for 9 months. So it's a lower investment, right? But like I would personally would rather have that income stability than having those big jumps. People will say, oh, never have the payments go past the program. That's like the old way of thinking. I choose to trust my clients. I choose to trust that they're going to follow through with their commitments, that they have integrity, that even though the program was done like 6 months ago, nobody, I don't think, I can't recall, has defaulted on those 9 payments. And if they have, I'm just like, hey, what's up? Like, what's going on? And you just have a conversation with them. Do we need to adjust the payment plan? What would feel like, what do you feel like you could do every month? $50? Cool. We'll just like put you on a $50 a month payment plan. That way you can keep your commitment, stay in integrity around your payments. And then I continue to get paid $50 a month. Like, right. But we don't want to go into this thinking that, oh, like, what if nobody pays, or like, that's like scarcity. Right. And so I just really invite you to think about these longer payment plans or extended payment plans, because it makes your programs more accessible. You can get more people in, and it really provides that longevity. So these are ways that you can boost your income. So like, let's say you're at like a baseline, maybe you want to have like a cash injection or like a quick boost, right? So you can bundle old content. If you have old workbooks, old PDFs, like you can get creative and like bundle things together. You can lead like a workshop like this or a master class and sell that. You can do intensives. That's also a big boost. If you have, let's say, like a very targeted work, like 4-week deep dive, like I could do like a 4-week program on marketing, or a 4-week like storytelling, right? Or like a 4-week dive in sales, and sell that. You can also incentivize paying in full, but there's also a discussion to be had around the equity piece, and not necessarily discounting the price, but adding on like an additional service or like a bonus or a 2-hour bonus, because this gets into the conversation around, tacking on thousands of dollars for payment plans, which is not an equitable business. And maybe not like 1,000, but right. You've seen people where it's like, if it's pay in full, it's $1,000. But if you're paying in installments, it's a $2,000 program. You're like, what the fuck? Like, that is like not an equitable business model. It's really unfair and like doesn't feel good. Right. So think about, like, if you did want to incentivize a pay in full, is there something else that you can add on? Maybe there is a bit of a discount, but not like thousands of dollars. So play around with that. So again, there are caveats, as you saw. I always recommend starting with one-on-one coaching. It's the easiest to start with. You don't have to like have any of the things. Really refine your offer, learn how to sell the shit out of it. Because if you can sell your one-on-one, you can literally sell anything, because your other programs are just like an extension of your one-on-one, right? Like, ideally what you're creating is your one-on-one program. You're gathering enough information from your clients. You're getting on the job market research. So you're getting enough information from your clients to then create a targeted group program that would ideally lead them into your one-on-one. Right. So this is how you start to like create. So like Business Unleashed is like business 101. Then it leads into Ignite, which is like storytelling and marketing and really learning how to sell online, which would then is like all of the programs lead into one another. So really start to think forward of what are the group offers that you want to offer, and make sure that they lead into and make sense for your bigger offer. Get support. So whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, this is exactly what we're going to be doing in the mastermind. But this shit is hard when you do it on your own, because you start telling yourself stories and believing the stories, you start kind of spinning out. And so when you have that support, even if it's a business bestie, or if it's somebody who you've connected with in a group and you're there to, help each other out and keep each other like on track, and not pivoting every time something feels hard, or maybe somebody didn't buy, or like, oh, I didn't get all the signups that I wanted to get. Having that support is really going to make a huge difference. And then figure out your income goal and start to adjust your prices. So this is where the mindset piece comes in, and really doing the work to get regulated at those next levels so that you can start showing up and really getting paid what you desire. So I'm going to and take questions. I did see that there are some questions. Who has any questions about this part in particular? Yes.
I'll go. Hey.
Hi. How are
So
you?
I have like a 3-month, and I love what you're saying about the 6-month. You've answered the question about the payment plans, because that's what I want to set up for a few people already, because I know they really want to do it. But so that's answered that. Thank you. To get onto a 6-month, to switch it up to a 6-month would feel so much better. But how do you navigate the price difference, or do you just keep it the same?
Yeah,
And
you just
offer
keep
for
it the
6
same.
months?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
6 months, but it's $500 a month for each, or if you want to like raise your rates as you raise the right, like you're raising the time commitment, and maybe you're raising the investment a bit too.
And do you ever have payment plans for that on your one-on-one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So this
Okay.
is one thing. So as I raise my rates, I realized like, this is really what I want to get paid. And I was also having some feelings around like, yes. And then, people be like, yeah, I want to work with you and this investment. And so what I did as I got my shit together behind the scenes was, it's a 6-month program, but then I offered a 9-month payment plan. So I was still getting paid what I wanted. I just hadn't regulated to the monthly investment. Right. And so then what happened was it didn't feel good anymore. And I was like, no, I can show up and say it's $1,000 a month. Like, cause that's what I really want to get paid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it was like, what, I don't know. I'm not mathing right, but it was like $750, like, let's do 9 payments of $750. Until I had a bunch of clients at 9 payments of $750. And I was like, I have too many clients. I have to charge more. Like if I want to hit these levels and like hire a team or, a VA, like I need to be making more money. So things just got like settled in my body. Right.
Yeah,
So
that's amazing.
That's something that you could try too.
Yeah, because I've just kind of pivoted and I've gone more into the integration and coaching side of things. And I've got 3 months, I'm offering a 5-month payment plan. I could do 6 months and offer a 9-month, and just get the ball rolling so people can get on.
Yeah.
Okay,
get hired,
awesome.
Get the money coming in, get your system regulated. And then like, because you did something doesn't mean that that's how you have to run your business forever. So even if you just get hired a couple times and you have that, and then you're like, you build that confidence and you're like, no, fuck that. I'm charging $1,000 a month, and you just raise your rates.
But like, so if it's 500, you keep it 500 for 3 months and you keep it 500 for 6 months, for example. Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Congratulations on creating your new program. So Mar, the average monthly for an ACC, I think what they do is hourly, and I believe it's like $150 to $160 for ACC. The last time that I heard, I haven't seen it recently. And I believe for PCC, but this is like, I believe it's like 260 to 300, and then it goes up from there. For someone starting out charging $1,000 a month, would those sessions be 3 times, 4 times? It just really depends on what you desire, Lonnie. If you want to have that integration week, then it's 3 times a month. Yeah. Agreed, Amal. For weekly payment plan, that like that's never made sense to me. And like you're getting hit with fees every time as well. So I know that some people get paid weekly and they're trying to accommodate the people, but sometimes those accommodations end up being like more confusing, more pain in the ass, instead of like, let's just figure out how to do this one payment. Okay. How do you create more intro calls with people even when there's a clear, can you explain that to me, Mar?
Yeah, sorry, my brain is not on. Basically, I connect with clients through conversation.
Okay.
Conversations happen through introduction calls. I have a link that allows people to access the calendar for that and self-schedule. And there are some questions there to, again, help kind of qualify. But I'm curious, like, how do you drive more people to that? I mean, I'm using what I think are pretty clear CTAs in posts, but how do you suggest kind of upping them?
I mean, I would personally, so I'm just going to use like the roadmap to 5K calls, like as an example, so you can kind of like see how this works. So like, let's say you did, I don't know, like a workshop or something that would then lead into a like targeted call. And this is especially good when you're launching your one-on-one. So rather than it being like, hey, let's just talk, because that's not really what coaching is anyway. Coaching is like a targeted, specific conversation. So I might offer them like a specific kind of call. So like, let's have so for example, like my roadmap to 5K calls, we're going to have a conversation about your business. You're going to leave with some next steps that you can start to implement. And then we're also going to have a conversation around what it might feel like to be supported. And if you have any questions about the mastermind, then I'll answer those questions for you. Right. So like versus just like having a conversation, like this allows them to see your coaching style, and then also start to talk about what it would be like to work with you. How does that land? Thumbs up. Okay. What you can also like, so if you did want to have just like coffee chats where you're just connecting to your community, I would maybe make that very clear. Like this is a coffee chat where we're just going to get to know each other and get out from behind the computer for 15 or 20 minutes, right? But then I would make them really limited on your calendar, or only say like, I only have, okay, cool. I only offer a couple of these a month. And then once they're taken, then they can, yeah. Okay. Yes, Amal.
I'm wondering on like the touch point. So when you talked about that like funnel, like from your experience, did the clients really need to go through the steps to convert to a high paying client? Or is that like one, I'm seeing you nod, but like I'm gonna continue of like, is that like one free consultation session enough? Or does it need to be like there is much more nurturing that should have happened before for this to be the converting point to that higher sale?
Yeah, I mean, it just really depends on like what their like buying personality is. Like there's a lot of different personalities in sales, right? Like some people need the sales page. Some people need to have a conversation. Some people like they just go off of their gut, and some people need to talk to people and source, right? So there's like lots of different ways that people buy. So of course there's going to be people that are like, I just saw a friend and she's like, oh, somebody just joined my mastermind. My friend tagged me in a post, and right, like Jessica just got somebody hired in her mastermind. Somebody tagged her in a post and they signed up. Like, come on, man. That is like fast buy. Yeah. Right. I know. Right. But like they exist. Right. And there are people who need that nurturing, especially if it's a higher investment. because they need to trust you. They need to have that time to trust themselves. They need to trust that they're going to show up, that they're going to get the results. Right. So it's like less about trusting you, but like more about trusting themselves. So they need the time to like read the content, read the objection handling, read the posts, read the testimonials, because they need that time to build that trust within themselves.
Yeah. Okay. So like from experience, like it's so rare that like this like little one interaction, and I know I'm exhibit A of like one sales call and then ghosted, or like, so like just like thinking of like how much nurturing should go in. That's not just like that one touch point.
Right.
But
I mean,
yeah.
think about your style too. Like, what do you personally need?
Well, like I do the gut, and I do the like, oh, like this person is pulling me in, but I find a reason not to like get sucked in. And if I was to reflect, I don't know what shifts I'm just like playing here into the like, I need to be on the field with this person.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, think about that too, of like what you've needed. Like, yes, it's energetic, so that you know that that's like available. So like, how can you show up like in your essence and fully like you, and just like, right? Because you know that energetically that's going to draw your people in. But then also like you might needed more information. So whether that's a sales page, a Facebook Live, an email, a personal invitation, like, hey, I saw that you were checking out my posts and that you've been commenting, and I just wanted to reach out and send this personal invite because I adore you. Right. So like adding these different pieces that you'd be like, oh, that would be really fucking cool if they reached out personally and were like, I see you. I would love to have you. Right. And then just understanding too, like in the psychology of sales, there's so many different kinds of buyers. So that's why we do all of these things, so that we're hitting our audience and meeting them where they are in that buying process. Sound good? Okay. Now we're going to go into your personal roadmap. I think Corey's on the call. I think I saw her. So let's talk about your business model. So as you wrote this, I'd like you to think, or like start to think about, what do you already have in place? And then where are your gaps? So I think all of you have free content, right? You may or may not have a list or some way to collect email addresses. Usually this middle part is where the gaps are, which is totally normal. So like, no shame. Don't feel like you need to leave here and like do a bunch of shit. Like, this is the opposite. That's like the opposite of what I want you to do. But just be aware of where the gaps are, and have like, this is why we're creating a plan, right? Of like, okay, one-on-one, that's what we're directing people in. Then what's the next thing we're going to layer on top of that and sell that? Do we need to pause? Do you need to replenish your one-on-one? So maybe you do like a push for your one-on-one, fill that back up if it hasn't already. Is there another program? But this is like 6 months, 12 months, right? Like, you really need to be thinking ahead, instead of like, oh, I'm going to be pumping out all this shit, I'm going to be launching every 3 weeks or every 3 months. I will speak from experience that is exhausting. And unless you have a team, that is the opposite of an anti-hustle business model. So keep this in mind and know that we're playing the long game. So we'll eventually fill these gaps, and just don't feel like this is something you need to like hurry up and get done. So start to think about, if you want to take a screenshot and journal on these, what is your desired income goal? does that match up with your current rates? How much do you want to, or are you able to work each week? You don't want to be like from sunrise, right? Like you don't want to be in front of your computer all day. That's not why we're doing this. So plan your work around your play. So make sure your lunches are scheduled out, make sure your, classes, photography classes, hobbies, yoga, gym, like plan your work around your self-care, around how you take care of yourself versus the opposite way, which is how we are told. This is how we start to replicate like corporate culture in our own businesses, is when we're not running from like an anti-hustle lens. When you start to bring in all the corporate stuff of like, oh, it's not considered work unless I'm in front of my computer. I have to be working 8 hours a day so that I like feel like I got anything done. That's like not what we're doing here. What kind of lifestyle do you desire? Like, do you want to go on vacations? Do you want to have weekends off? Do you want to travel? Do you want to take like the 2 weeks off, like that lull between Christmas and New Year's? Go mark those off on your calendar now. Mark your vacations off. Like, I think for the next 2 years, those 2 weeks are done for me. Like, because I launched during Christmas and I was like, I'm never doing this again. So figure out what kind of lifestyle. Do you want to have an integration week? When do you want that in your month? I used to do it during my cycle. That just got to be like a pain in the ass. So now it's the last week of every month for continuity. What are your other desires? What are your long-term goals? Like, let's start thinking forward of what kind of business do you need to be building now in order to support those goals? So if you don't want to be working 5 days a week in your coaching business when you hit this certain level, then why are you working 5 days now? Just work the 3 days so that that's just like the business model that you've built, right? So there's like a lot of pieces here. So remember, results take time. You're in it to win it. This is like, you got to see forward. You got to understand that we're all on our own schedule. Like when you see people launch their business and they explode, there's so many variables that we don't know about. Did they have a big audience? Do they have a degree in marketing? Like, is this literally what they've done? There's so many pieces, right? The overnight success stories are a lie. So cut yourself some slack. I'm going to move into this just because I realize that I am way over time and I want to make sure that we get to the open coaching at the end. So CEO mindset, I want to share with you how to get your brain and your nervous system on board with your big goals as you start to step into these new prices, step into this next level of your business. So Carmen, she's on the call too. So the CEO mindset, the number one thing that sets entrepreneurs apart is having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So the growth mindset is seeing things as opportunities, not taking things personally, not like wanting, trying to burn your business down after things don't go as planned. Seeing things as like forward. Just operating from a more positive point of view versus taking this on and getting the ego involved. That's like when things really start to crash, when it's like, oh, nobody signed up. I'm awful. People don't like me. People don't care about me. That's just a really fixed mindset versus looking at it as more of like a marketing game of like, okay, cool. I know that like nobody signing up for my workshop literally has nothing to do about me. Like I might have my feelings hurt and I'm going to feel my feelings for a minute. And also like, what can I learn from this from a marketing perspective? What do I need to tweak? Who do I need to get in front of? Like starting to think about this from just a completely different lens, seeing what's available to you versus spiraling out. So also with the CEO mindset, like really starting to think about your business as a business. And so looking at the investments that you're making, whether that's in like a coach or a mastermind or hiring team or anything like that, really starting to think of this as a business investment versus an expense, or like this is like indulgent, right? When we're making personal purchases, it's like we don't remove that from how we're showing up in our businesses. And so we're not like removing ourselves in that moment from like, what's going to move me forward? Is this an investment? What is the ROI that I can expect, right? So you start to think of things from a business standpoint and perspective versus how you make your personal purchases of, I don't know, shoes and bags and things, right, that you might want or desire. Having the CEO mindset really is thinking about this long term. So when you're only thinking about, and this is really easy to do, right? Because you're like in this tunnel. I speak all of this from experience, right? Like you're in this tunnel, you can only see this much in front of you because the money's not coming in, the money's running out, like the clients aren't coming, or like I don't have as many clients as I want. And so you sometimes have a hard time seeing that. But if you really remove yourself again and have committed, like I am in this, like this is my career and I am in this until it works. I'm in this and like I don't plan on working for anybody ever again. And so like, what do we got to do? You know, pull, I don't want to say pull up your bootstraps, but like put your big girl panties on and let's be in this, right? So also making decisions based on where you want to be, not necessarily where you are now. And this is really hard, especially when there's like investments and money involved, right? But when you have a CEO mindset, you think forward and you start to think about, okay, where do I want to be? What decisions do I need to start making now in order to get to where I want to be? What has to change? And also as a CEO, you realize and recognize that this is 90% mindset and 10% strategy. And if you've been in any of my containers, you've heard this over and over again. I can give you the strategy. I can create a flow chart. I can tell you all of the things. But if you're poking holes in the strategy, if you are telling yourself it's not working, if you are always finding how it's hard and that people don't like you and you don't believe in your pricing, the strategy is not going to work. It's not about the strategy. It's really about how you think of it, how you think of yourself, and what you think is possible. So how to have this growth mindset. So daily mindset work to catch your thoughts. I don't know if Maggie's still on here, but everybody's going, there's lots of feelings about mindset work. So this could include journaling, writing. There she is. Hi, Maggie. Journaling, writing out your thoughts. And I'll get into that in just a minute. It could be listening to podcasts or watching an inspirational YouTube or watching Brene Brown's videos over and over again, right? But this is where you catch your thoughts and you start to transform those thoughts. So having a growth mindset is also about choosing your beliefs. So they might be automatic, right? Of like, oh God, this isn't working. Okay, so what else could be true? And this is us being coaches coaching ourselves. There's really an opportunity in your journaling and in your mindset work to take a nice little taste of your own medicine, and what you usually dole out to clients is what you need for yourself as well. So a big part of this is really stop seeking approval from others, learning how to build that self-trust. Because if we're constantly looking outward, we might not get the affirmation, right, that we need or want. So we're going to keep staying stuck, keep staying where we are. Learning how to really step into your gifts instead of doubting them. Thinking forward from this growth mindset. So as you really start to cultivate this new thought process or how you're showing up, making decisions based on those beliefs instead of your knee-jerk reactions, instead of when you're maybe in a trauma response or you're activated, pausing, reflecting, getting grounded, getting clear, and then making decisions from this growth mindset. And really seeing how it's a learning opportunity versus like, oh, this is a failed launch. Oh, this didn't work out right. Great, cool. It didn't go as expected. Side note, your launches will never fucking go as expected. So don't ever expect them to go as you wish. The sooner that you can remember that and just really like let that go, the easier that this is going to feel. So daily mindset work. So start small, work your way up to an hour. There's sometimes like I'm journaling for like up to 2 hours a day, but I am a seasoned journaler, so that might not be available for you yet if this isn't part of your practice. So even if it's just like Mama Gina, she does the Holy Trinity. If you haven't read the book Pussy, it is, I mean, there's some gaps. Well, no pun intended. There's like limitations on the book, right? But like brags, gratitudes, and desires is what she talks about with the Holy Trinity. So even if that's only what you do in your journaling, 3 brags, 3 gratitudes, 3 desires, and then go on with your day. And then build up to the other pieces. So my coach, Julia Wells, she calls it the sandwich technique. So it's brags, sandwiching your fears and doubts. How are you tripping yourself up? How are you getting in your own way? So like any of like the negative, shitty things that you're thinking, oh, everybody hates me, nobody cares, like no one's engaging with my post, people think I suck, right? And then cushioning that with the desires or a vision letter or I decide statements. I decide people can't wait to read everything that I write. I decide that this launch sells out. I decide. And you always want to make sure that you're leaving your mindset work feeling good. So you never want to just stop in the doubts and the fears. So make sure you're giving yourself enough time. But you want this to feel good. Like you want to like gas yourself up. You want your mindset work to be where you are pumping yourself up, because we don't have coworkers coming behind us and being like, hey, good job. I saw how you really crushed that post. I saw how you sent those emails out. That's fucking great, right? Like we have to do that for ourselves and really give ourselves credit for that. So take a screenshot of this. So this is what I use personally and what I offer to all of my clients as well. So maybe you do have your eye on the mastermind. Maybe there's another investment that you want to be making, but this is indeed your next level. If this is on your radar, right? And you might be having lots of feelings, lots of fears, lots of doubts. So there's an opportunity to journal and to start to get regulated at this next level you. So what is the next level I desire to have in my business? What does this look like? How does this feel? What do I want to experience? Who do I have to be to have that? What do I have to believe? Like, how are you stepping into this? What are some things that you're doing as you step into this next level? What are things that you are not doing anymore? I'm not doubting myself. I'm not talking shit to myself. I'm not second guessing myself. I'm not signing up for everybody's fucking freebie trying to like piecemeal my business together. What are some decisions I've had to make to get here? So start thinking forward. Like imagine that you are 6 months in, or that you've signed up for the mastermind, right? And like, so like, what does that next level feel like? What are the decisions that you had to make to step into that next level? What are you doing every day? Where are you spending your time and energy? And then I left this out. I just thought of it now, but like, how are you already showing up as that person now? And then what do you need to start doing to show up as that person? And this isn't like the fake it till you make it, like, oh, I'm going to go buy these things to like pretend like I have all of this. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. It's more energetic and how you're feeling inside. So are you telling yourself every day, I'm a whatever, I'm a 6-figure coach, I'm a coach that charges $2,000 a month for their one-on-one package? Like whatever that next level is, I'm the type of coach that signs up for the mastermind. Like if that's your desire, right? And then starting to get leveled up to that next level. I think Lonnie's on here still too. So the next piece is the pleasure and embodiment practices. So this is also what's going to create more ease in your business. So indulging the senses that you have access to. We have 5. Not everybody has access to all of those, but whatever you have access to. So having like a perfume that just smells so delicious, I am like business on, well, it's kind of party because it's sequins, but I will have like super comfy pants on and like fuzzy socks on, right? Because that feels good. Maybe it's a candle or flowers or like some touch or something, right? Like this is really how we get back into our bodies while we're on coaching calls, even, right? My lotion is right here. When I'm on calls, if you're one-on-one client or in my mastermind or groups, like, I apply lotion because I smell it. It's cocoa butter, right? So this is how we play with that. And it's not just for like, oh, bubble bath so I can take Instagram pictures. This is really how we take care and heal and nurture our nervous systems as we're expanding, because as we get bigger and bigger, like it's a lot to hold. So we have to remember to come back to pleasure. We have to remember to come back to ourselves and in our bodies, or we're going to blow out our nervous systems and then we tank. So creating a pleasure plan for your launches. How are you taking care of yourself through each week of your launch? Are you scheduling massages? Are you going to acupressure? Are you going for walks? Are you having a yummy, celebratory every Friday, whatever, dinner? So movement, dance, shaking, like even if it's just like getting this like frenetic energy out, breath work. This is all bringing you back into your body. Visualization exercises, parts work. The parts work is really big. I'm in a leadership program where I'm learning more about this, and I'm just seeing how this is so important. So like if you are, let's say, struggling with money mindset, and I mean, we can do mantras and shit all day, but if like there's a memory that comes up and it's like, I remember when I was 12 years old and my mom told me that rich people are assholes and that I'm, never gonna, oh, here's one, that I wasn't smart enough and that I needed to marry rich because I would never be able to make money on my own, right? So my work, the parts work, is what did that 12-year-old version of me need to hear? Like, and really starting to look at like, how did that feel? Like, what did I want to say? So that's the parts work as you start to do this more shadowy work, because all this stuff starts to show up in your business. And if you're not doing your personal development work, it's going to show up messy in your business, right? Swamping is another Mama Gina thing. This is like, there's like variations of this. I don't do it the way that she does it, but like I'll put on like angry music and like hit my pillow and all of the like negative stuff I just wrote in my journal. Like, why the fuck is everybody else getting hired? Everybody makes this look so easy and they're fucking bubble baths and champagne, right? And you just like bang things out and it looks ridiculous. No one needs to watch you, but this is like what you can do to like get this out of your body, because otherwise it's just like full, and it's going to come out again messy. So these are all of the things that we are going to talk about and cover in the mastermind. It's what I do with my one-on-one clients. We're doing this in Business Unleash and in Ignite and all of the things. So if you're tired of the hustle, if you're tired of like feeling like you have to do all of the things at all of the time, and you really desire to have a simple strategy where you know what you're doing, you know where you're going, and you're in this for the long run, then let's have a conversation about the mastermind. So the doors are open. I will be sending out the replay to this with information about how to apply for the mastermind, but it's for coaches, service providers. So if you have a business where you're offering services, so this could be like web designers, you know, developers, like anyone, if you have like a service-based business. But if you want to work less, play more, have the money, have the clients, make the impact that you desire, then perhaps the mastermind is the next step. So here's all the information. We cover all the things, right? Like you get to come as you are to the calls. There's no set curriculum, although I am going to be making some changes because there are some gaps that I see in terms of like making sure everyone's like got their business bank account sorted, making sure that you are, you know, that you have your finances separated. Like I really want to help everybody like run a financially healthy, legal business. And so we're going to talk more about that. But program development, a super simple strategy, and really working on building that self-trust so that you stop doubting yourself, you stop overthinking, you stop this doubt cycle every time things aren't going as you desire, as planned, and really helping to build that resilience, because that's where you're going to see the most success and have things just feel better, right? So here are the details. It's all on the website as well, but you get the 3 group coaching calls with me every month with a 10-minute guaranteed hot seat. There is no hiding. So if you're worried about getting lost or not getting called on, that is impossible. VP will be doing an office hours. So they will be, they're like, it's anything that goes. It's like an open coaching call basically. And like I said, like they really focus on building equitable and sustainable businesses. And so if you have questions around like, how do I make this program? Like, how do I start implementing scholarships? Like, how do I do X, Y, and Z? This is the place to be. You have a one-on-one call with them every month. So to cover that strategy piece, the mindset piece, there's 3 retreats. So we'll have one on, I believe, May 2nd. We'll have one halfway through, and then we'll have a wrap-up retreat at the end, just so that you're feeling supported for goal setting, intention setting, all that stuff. There's like so much bonus material that you may or may not go through, but you'll have access to it. So you'll have access to the Mastermind Vault and my monthly membership, which also includes a monthly group coaching call. So technically you would have 4 group calls with me. And then we have the special guests. So VP will actually be coming in and doing a very specific 90-minute workshop around inclusive business strategies. And then Rebecca, my accountant, will be coming in and talking about profit first, money management, And then my OBM is going to come in and talk about operations and scaling. This last mastermind, we talked a lot about SOPs, standard operating procedures, and getting things set up for team because they started hiring people a lot sooner than they thought they would. So it's getting your systems, because that's what's going to make things streamlined on the back end so that you can scale with ease. So if this is on your radar and it's like, yes, but like, oh, this is a big investment. So here are some journal prompts for you that if this is something that you desire and you want to join me, I invite you to journal on this, feel into this. We can have a conversation and set up a call. I will also include the link to book a roadmap to 5K call. But really start to think about, where do you want to be in the next 6 to 12 months? What kind of decisions does that coach in 6 to 12 months need to make now, right? So that you can be where you want to be. I offer this twice a year. So the next time I'll be running it is in November. So where do you want to be by November? So the investment for this is $1,100 a month. The price does increase on May 1st to $1,500 a month. So we're taking applications, and the reason that we're taking applications is because I want to first see where you are in your business, because I want to set you up for success, right? Like, you might have the $1,100 a month, but still might not be where you need to be in order to have the most success in this mastermind. So I have the application process, and then I'll review that, and then we can set up a call. So next steps: apply. Even if you're scared, apply. If you're like, yes, but apply, right? Because even just that energetic next step kicks things into gear and takes that intention and moves it from an intention to an action. So even if it's not this time, totally fine. Like, I'm not here to talk anybody into or convince people to work with me, but at least you've set that intention and you've taken action from that desire. So let's open this up. Oh, I have to hold on before. So where to find me? So Shannon at travelingwildwoman.com. And then just for like integrity pieces, I need to show you all this because this is a template that was provided to me for free. So thank you, Slides Go, for providing me with this on brand bomb ass slide deck. Okay, there we go. Cool. What questions do you have about any of the things? I see. Yes. Mar, you're the best. Thank you. What questions do you have? Yes, Jennifer.
You've talked a lot about one-to-one and group programs. Do you have, what do you think about memberships? And is there a good time or a good process to move to those, or when are those most applicable?
Yeah. So and then what would the investment be? Do you have an idea?
That I don't know yet.
Yeah. So what I have experienced in my own business and with clients as well, is that I'll just be like fully transparent. Like, my membership has not, it's just not, and I have like a decent sized audience. I feel like you need to have a bit of a bigger, more engaged audience to have that be successful, right? And it really, it's like a lower touch program, ideally, right? Where maybe you're just doing like one call a month. But because it's open enrollment, that always kind of throws a wrench in things, because like people can join anytime. So it's like, well, if I know I can join next month, like what's the rush to join this month? And if I know I can join next, right? Like that's what keeps going, right? And yeah, that's just been my experience, is that you need like a highly engaged, can't get enough of you community, right? That will invest in that.
Okay. I was considering it because I was worried about burning out, and also the fact that I have unpredictable situations going on in my life. So I know consistency is important. Wanted, people to be able to have good content, but not necessarily be stuck with me always having to be there
Right.
delivering it.
Yeah. I mean, you're still going to be involved, right? Like you still need to be creating or doing something in there. Kitty. So you might not be live, but also what I've seen too is that if it's self-paced, it takes a really motivated person, right, to do the things. And so if you're not like directly involved, where it's like, oh, I'm going to see you once a month, or maybe, twice a month for this membership program, they might get in there and get a couple of the things. And then like, what's the incentive, like to keep them engaged? Like, and so it does take, some work on that end. And then also from like a tech side and a team side. So like, is the investment covering your time doing tech, your time, like, do you have a team? Right. So like, is the investment going to cover the team doing this or you doing this? Like, so there's like the technical piece to it as well.
Okay. Those are really great things to consider. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So like a consultation? Is that what you mean, Mar? Where are you?
Yeah, like rather than that 30 minutes be a free chat or conversation, instead they get a 30-minute laser focused opportunity to talk. There may be some coaching, but it gives you an idea as to whether it's a fit or not. I've just noticed some coaches do charge for the intake call, and where I trained with, we were told not to do that. And I can definitely see the pros and cons of both, but yeah, I'd love to hear your take on it.
Yeah. So like, I think like, cause I know like you have the different calls. So like, I think like with you, like the progression would be like free coffee chat, get to know somebody. And then like, I'm not a huge fan. I wouldn't pay to do a consultation with somebody. Like I personally wouldn't. Right. Like, so I'm just thinking about what my habits would be. I'm not going to no-show you. Right. So like, don't charge, but like, I would pay for an intensive. Oh, really? Really? Maybe that's why I haven't had a consult with them. No, but like, yeah, that's just not my style. Right. But like, if you want to be getting on the phone with people, like, so it could be like a coffee chat, like 15-minute, get to know the community member. Then maybe you do like a targeted, like activation session, or like I did the roadmap to 5K calls, right? Where it's that first part, but it was free. So they got a taste of my coaching. We talked about the mastermind, and then would be a sales call. So there's like the different, I think of it as like skipping across like rocks, or like hopping across rocks of like a river, right? So it's like free content, coffee chat, strategy session, or like roadmap, or like whatever you want to call it, and then a consultation. Yes. Also, like, I just really invite you to check in too, Mara, of like, how often are you getting on the calls, like with the free calls? Like, are you feeling burnt out? Does this feel, because like I know as like a projector, like this can be a lot. And there's also an opportunity to like start feeling that bitterness. So just really checking in of like, does this feel good? Like, could we shorten this? So like maybe there's not coffee chats, but then there's just that more targeted hour-long conversation that could then lead into a sales call. But if it feels good, then keep doing it. What else? Hi, Corey.
Hi, beautiful. Thank you. So I've got 5. I like went to not celebrate that. I've got 5 women in my mastermind for a year.
Well, Brad.
I know my nervous system feels so happy. And I still feel like there's like 2, 3, thanks, Ma, to really round off that space and feel like it's complete. So I kind of started to feel this piece come in around doing another turn on event. Is that okay? Because it's like, yeah. And then
I don't think you necessarily need the like full 2 weeks of like promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've just left it at,
Yeah.
I've just left it at 5. And then I've kind of gone with the opening weekend for my mastermind, like the retreat weekend, like virtual kind of retreat weekend. I'm actually going to monetize and open that to the public.
Okay.
And I'm just feeling, is that okay? Because like we'll have a call before with the mastermind, but what I want to do is like I'm already doing the weekend. So if I open that up to other people, and then if they want to come into the mastermind, they get that price off.
Gotcha.
Like a little bit different, but I'm just feeling for value for my effort.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would check in with like, what is the intention of the retreat, like within the mastermind, right? So if it was like to build cohesion, to like start to build the trust of the mastermind members and really start to like have them open up.
Not so much like, so it's more like we will do that the day before.
Great.
But on the like weekend, it's going to be like strategy, energetics, mindset, those pieces that are like, I can kind of group together for other people. And then we'll come back into the mastermind, just us as a coaching at the other end of it.
Yeah. I mean, that could be like considered an event or like a lead magnet into the mastermind.
Yeah. I'm just trying to like, because my time is so valuable being, stay-at-home mom, homeschooling mom. I'm like, is that okay? Because I'm like, I want to still keep it really clean, but yeah, you're right. As long as I keep the coaching piece, like our group, a little bit separate and open. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And also remember, like, just because the mastermind started doesn't mean the doors close.
How long do you, there's like, maybe that was the piece. So how long do you leave your cart open?
Until it's full.
Okay. That's what
or until I'm like, fuck this, I'm done. So like the last time I launched, like not this time, but like before, people weren't getting signed up until like almost the day, like a full month after we started.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Right.
That's
and like you can prorate it. Some people prorate, some people don't prorate, which is like, oh, you're a month late, so I won't charge you for the first month that you missed.
Okay.
But they'll still have access to the recordings. So that's where you get to like decide like if you want to do that or not.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
It feels like that's more expensive. Yeah. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to have to close it at this point and be done. Okay.
Yeah. And this goes for like any group programs, anything like that. Like just because it started doesn't mean that the cart's closed. So you get to decide like how much energy can you hold? Because now that means that it's going to be like a 2.5 month launch, 3 month launch now. So can you just like hold that energy? And then what do you need to do that? I'm a big fan of late close cart. Yeah. Because then what you can also do is as your clients are having breakthroughs and as they're getting results in that first month, there's testimonials that you can say, like, bragging on my clients, celebrating these clients. Here's screenshots. Are you still on the fence? Have you decided yet? Like, look at what's happening in here. Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. Rather than offer a payment plan on one-on-one coaching, does it make more sense to offer a simple group program? I don't think so. Because again, right, like now it's like a lower investment and then you need more people. Like if you're already getting hired at that, like let's get you that stabilized income for the 6 months and then we can talk about the group program. Yeah. Anybody else? Thank you for saying, I knew I should have said it was a 2-hour workshop. I don't know how I thought I was going to get out of here in 90 minutes with 42 slides. What a dick. I'm just going to see if there's any other questions. You're so welcome. All right, so you know where to find me. Reach out. Mar put in the link for the mastermind. So if they're like, I want to do this, I like don't know if now's the time. Just apply. We'll have a conversation. If now's not the time, then we'll just keep you on deck for the next round and then create a plan so that it's not like, oh, I'm going to wait 6 months and we're going to have this conversation. Like, what do we need to do to set you up for success so that November is the time where you're like, yeah, I'm for sure in. Sound good? Cool. And it's 50% sold out. So there's 5 spots left. All right, friends, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for staying late and indulging me in my slide deck. Have a wonderful day and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.